A Black Man's
The
Guide to Escape the
haters
Friend
are
Zone.
going
How I Got Put in the
to
Friend Zone with
hate.
Rihanna.
Shout out to Rihanna. Now, why did Rihanna write Boo Boo Boy, aka B Woods, on an album cover? Yes, it's story time. And if you're in the friend zone, you definitely need to be listening. The haters are going to hate. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself that Rihanna has always been a multi-billion-dollar star, and that's not always been the case. When I worked in radio, Rihanna literally would come to the radio station by herself, no security, nobody. She just kind of come up there, kick it, promoting her music. So one day Rihanna comes into the studio, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, who is this right here? She sits down. We start talking. She's telling me about her music, what she got going on, different things. I'm listening to her. I'm like, where are you from? You have you got a nice little accent there. Like, oh, I'm from Barbados. I'm like, all right, my folks are from Belize. She's like, oh, your folks are from Belize. We start vibing. I was a little in there. We're talking. She's telling me what she's doing. I'm telling her what I'm doing. The next natural step is let's kick it. So at the time, my boss, he was the main host of the show. I was the co-host. He's watching. And I'm over here paying attention to Rihanna. He's over there making sure that he is looking at every action. Now, mind you, he's married, but he does not like not being the center of attention. So we're vibing, we're talking. I'm about to see what I can get the number, the next level, take it to the next step. And as soon as I'm about to make my move, guess what? He says, he lives at home with his mom. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, why is this dude hating right now? And so she's like, what? So now we have to start the radio show. And then flashback, a week before we did our most embarrassing moments, right? So my most embarrassing moment, this was a clip that we did on the show, a little bit. So in the third grade, I'm using the bathroom, and all the kids jump on the stall. I'm doing number 2, and they just start screaming, boo, boo, boy, boo, boo, boy, boo, boo, boy. And so that was my most embarrassing moment. I shared it with the radio station and what was going on. So he brings that up to Rihanna. He says, and you know what, Rihanna? They used to call him Boo Boo Boy. And she says, Boo Boo Boy, and starts laughing. Now, at that point, I am against the wall because he's capping at me. He's hating. The haters are going to hate. Then he says, let's start the show. So at that point, the energy is shifted. She's looking at me crazy. He's taking it to some whole other level. And what's the point of all this? The point is that when you are hollering at a female, you're in the friend zone, you are going to get haters. So by the time the interview ends, I'm wanting to rekindle the energy we had before the interview started. And he's looking and he's making comments. And then she says, she grabs the album cover that she brought to me, and she's like, let me write something on it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe the energy hasn't shifted that much. And then she puts 2B Woods, a.k.a. Boo Boo Boy. Ain't that something? I'm thinking I'm going to get Rihanna's number, and that's what she writes because she's trying to be funny now because the haters are going to hate. So if you're in a situation when you're in the friends, and shout out to Riri, I hate it. Wasn't you, baby. It's all good. I'm not hating. Congratulations on your kids and being a billionaire. This is a story about haters. Now, if you are in a situation where you're in the friend zone or somebody that you're trying to holler at, you need to avoid the haters because they're out there. How do you do this? First thing is, whenever you need to interact with that lady that you want to get involved with, you got to make sure that you're doing it in a very secluded, isolated space so people are not in your game. 2, if they do jump into your game, you have to check them, and you have to check them hard and check them swift. You ain't got to be super disrespectful, but you at least have to say something like, hey, I got this, you know, or you ain't got to, just so she'll know that you are not intimidated by somebody trying to mess up the mix. All right. So the haters are going to hate. Expect that when you are in the game. If you're in the friend zone, you have to expect that, because everybody knows that you're trying to holler at this girl. All right. If you want more details on how to escape the friend zone, it is very simple. All you have to do is get the step-by-step guide, only $59.99. A black man's guide to escape the friend zone. Shout out to Riri. Holla back.